Celestion Speaker Shaper, brand new product from Softube, and I'm going to let the product and the product commercial do all the talking for me. So we've had a ton of fun with this product. It's a product that I wasn't expecting, and then Softube came out with this partnership with Celestion, probably the most well-known speaker company in the world, just top quality speakers. And this is a product that just changes the way you work with guitars, changes the way you work with keyboards. I even just spoke to a producer today that was using it on a hip-hop drum kit to get this kind of lo-fi quality sound, and then using the other speakers to just get this really huge sub bass. Amazing stuff. We're going to start with a guy named Patrick Jensen, who is our head of the guitar team, and he's going to take you through a little bit of the mindset of why a partnership with Celestion and what is Speaker Shaper.
We wanted to do something different because there's just so many plugins, and there's so many IRs you can buy that have different Celestion speakers. Our idea was to create something that was Celestion approved and based on their knowledge and measurements, and just add something new. I think in a digital environment that we are in today, that it's very hard to get a unique sound. With this plugin, there's so many different combinations of settings. You can mix two different speakers, so they can be like a vintage 30 and a greenback, and you can have different sizes, up to 3 mics on each, open or closed back, different magnets, and just a ton of things. It will take some time to go through them all. So we're pretty confident that you can get a very unique sound with this plugin.
If you are the type of person that's used an IR loader in the past, those days are gone. Wait till you try this. It's an incredible product. I do want to bring a special guest to your attention. So this next guy that I'm about to bring out live, and you could certainly join him in the chat and ask some questions, host of Mixbus TV. Please give me a nice welcome to David Nautzi.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, David.
Hope your guys doing right. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for joining us. So first of all, if you haven't checked out David's channel, great channel. He's a great friend of Softube's, great Softube content. I know you've done some stuff on the Overstayer, British Class A. You have an awesome walkthrough on the Weiss DS1, which I learned a ton myself. But you actually just had a world premiere of Speaker Shaper and the new Marshall Murder One Lemmy signature. So maybe you could give us a little bit about what you're thinking and what you covered.
Oh, absolutely. And it was super fun to do because first of all, I had an absolute superstar with me in the video, Monty Pittman. If you're not familiar with him, he is a Madonna guitarist for over a decade, and right now he is the guitarist of the industrial band Ministry. So I had him in the video with me, going through the plugin for the first time. I called him up and I was like, hey, I have this new plugin from Softube, and I didn't even listen to it. Do you want to do it with me? We do like a first impression and everything. And it's funny because, you can see it in the video. He genuinely liked it, loved it, but he couldn't stop playing. You cannot see this in the video because we edited it, but I was just, watching him play. And when someone of that caliber plays, you just are kind of like, hypnotized. And then minutes passed by, and he probably played with them in the first cut for an hour, and we were going through sounds, and so you imagine, oh, maybe that plugin has that one or two sounds. The surprising thing is that it's incredibly versatile. That was the first thing. Like, you can get so many sounds out of it. I was surprised. And for both bass and guitars, you could get like so many tones out of it, and they were all super cool. And we were like, oh, that's cool. And then next one, wow, that's cool too. And that went on for like 2 hours and a half.
You mentioned that you just came into the studio and started filming. How quick was it to get a sound? Was there a learning curve, or was it instant?
Oh no. When something is that versatile, and yet it has enough controls to tailor the sound to your taste, or what the song or the recording of the day ask for. That's, for me, is the best, because I like to tweak stuff, but I don't like too tweaky stuff. My experience, I've been recording for years before doing basically just, mixing and mastering. The most important part, I want to say 70% of the guitar or bass sound, probably more for guitar than bass, is the speaker. The differences between the various amps, which at the end of the day, they kind of pivot around the same designs, the same handfuls of designs, while the speaker can dramatically change your sound and make or break a guitar sound, which means make or break a recording.
I want to give you a few sound examples, so I'm just queuing up a video here. What does Speaker Shaper sound like? Jump into one more really special feature, which is from our product developer, Kim, who worked on Speaker Shaper, worked with Celestion on getting the perfect speaker measurements, models, everything from the impedance of the speakers to the drive behind the speakers to the cabinet build. Is it open or closed back? And we're going to take a look at the product real specifically in a sec, but right here, I just wanted to show you a little bit from the developer himself.
First heard about the Celestion Speaker Shaper. I thought, that's crazy. Let's do it. We headed down to Ipswich, England, and we put our lab coats on. We tried out a bunch of speakers and varied a couple of speaker parameters in order to decide what we should have in our product. Celestion handed over 3,000 measurements to us. So it was quite a struggle to extract everything that we wanted from all the measurements. A lot of parameters, they are not independent of each other. They affect each other. So in order to have a product that makes sense, we had to quantify what a parameter does to the sound. When you instantiate the Celestion Speaker Shaper, you get instant sound quality. You also get so many parameters. I mean, it's a very complex product, but even if it's a quite complex product, it's laid out in a way that's intuitive to use.
Monty, the video that you see playing, you can see it in the video. No headphones, no anything, just He was playing through my speakers, to a pair of my speakers live. And you just need to lower the buffer of your interface from your, that will depend on your drivers. We were playing on Pro Tools live, and that was it.
Let's actually look at what the product is. Where did you start? You guys started playing. Did you jump right into the speaker size? Did you jump into the cabinet design and layout?
Actually, the first thing that I did, I was trying the different kind of speakers. I just started with one because I usually, when I'm trying something new, I want to keep the variables at 0 and understand what every parameter and every variable does instead of like changing everything all at once. So I kept, I think, a 4x12 because we were using a rock guitar. So 4x12 cabinet, and then I started changing the model of the speakers. Mm-hmm. I switched to changing and auditioning microphones to hear the difference, and soloing, and then understand how they interacted with each other. We had then I found after that the speaker size, and that was the most fun control for me.
And the last 3 speakers are actually voiced more or known more as bass speakers. So you'll notice there was a very significant change there. But what's interesting is you don't just get a tonal change here. You get a whole different transient response. Everything just feels different when you're switching these speakers. Can't go wrong with the greenback. So let's take the greenback. We'll start there. And then this is what David was talking about. You actually have the ability to come in here and change the cabinet design. So let's flip through the cabinet design a bit and switch between an open and closed speaker and see what that does for us. All of these variables just have, some of them are subtle, some of them are incredible differences in tone and in terms of transient response. And even it affects the way you play too, almost like you're playing through a different cabinet. But then up here is kind of where some of the magic also takes place, which is the ability to resize your speaker. And I'll just quickly flip through that because David was bringing that up too. We didn't talk about the fact that you could also select different microphones. And I mean, how did you treat this?
Well, I was very happy to see the 414 on the list of microphones, because that's when I record guitar, I like to overdo a little bit the microphones there, because worst case scenario, I'm just going to mute what I don't use. But especially when you work with big artists, you don't want to miss anything because they ain't going to come back and record. So the 414 is one of my favorite for guitars. And the usual suspect, the Royer, the 57 and the 421, they all responded to me once you set your speaker cabinet, your size, your whatever. They all responded how I'm used to hear when I switch microphones and how they interact with each other on a real cabinet. So that's the utmost important, familiarity, And actually, Monty was telling me when he was playing, it reacts like an amp, it's very dynamic. And you can actually hear it on the video because he was playing really low intensity and then was going up just to test that. And he never touched the plugin before. So that was 100% real and genuine. I really also liked the ambient that they have on the speaker, which I usually don't, especially when I record a lot of metal and stuff. You generally don't use reverbs on electric guitars and especially rhythmic guitars, but that it sounds really nice. So you have a mid and far microphones for the ambient. They sound really, really legit, like a real room as opposed to an added reverb.
A 121, a ribbon mic. And the thing is, you could even go through and place these exactly where you'd want them. So typically I would put my ribbon usually dead center to kind of tame down the brightness of the center, and something like a 57 maybe put to the side. And then we could even put a third mic here. You mentioned a 414, so we could take that 414 and I'll just drag that to the side. We could click on this and even make the 414 distant. And you could hear how when I change the distance, completely changes the sound of that microphone. And then the magic is, of course, the balance in them. So now, that's one cabinet. We actually have the ability to come in and design a whole second cabinet. So I'm just going to really quickly, I'm going to come on in. I'm going to just select a nice fat big cabinet. I'm going to make it gigantic. We'll go for a 24-inch because we can. I'll make it a 2x24, and we'll just slowly mix this in. So as a let's just take we'll take our 57 again. We'll just use one microphone here. Yeah. Here's probably my favorite part that David mentioned, the room. So as we bring in this room, check this out. And I'll start off by panning the room, the distant mic, or the near mic and the far mic slightly left and right. It changes absolutely everything. It sounds awesome.